Hello, and welcome to another episode of TTS Today. Today we are going to be going through how to do physical inventory. The first step in this process is going to be creating a report to see what your current inventory is, at least in the system. So what you'll do is head over to Reports, and then you'll head over to Inventory. And you're just going to want to select that first report type, product inventory. You want to select the vendor you're doing the physical inventory for. So we're going to stick with Gravity Industries. If you want to do a specific product, you can, but if you leave it blank, it will be for all products. I'm going to do it just for the main warehouse. I don't really care. I want all product groups, so I'm going to leave that blank. I do want to display the quantity. I want to see all the bins, and I don't want to include suspended items. So from here, I'm just going to hit Create Report. So that's going to open up here on the bottom, and we can take a look at the results in a second. So here are the reports. So you'll notice here on the left, we've got Gravity Industries, then product name, the description, product group, amount on hand, how much is committed, quantity available, which warehouse we're in, and the bin location. So I think it's easiest to continue just off of this sheet. So easiest things to do first is just going to be, if it's just the one warehouse, you don't really need that here, so you can clear that out. Just delete that row. You'll probably want to see what your quantity committed is, your quantity available, and quantity on hand. Because when we go to make an adjustment, you won't be able to make it smaller than what is currently committed. The vendor product group, you can keep it if you want, but for today, I don't think we really need it, so I'm going to clear it out to make this a little bit easier to look at. You probably don't need the vendor name, but if you're doing this for multiple vendors at once, it'll be easier to look at this way. And same with the product description. Maybe you don't know all your part numbers by heart, and the description helps you find it, so you will want to leave that. The next step is going to be coming over here, finding this extra column, and so we are just going to call this, difference. So it's going to be we're going to make this the physical count. So in this column, you are going to enter in the amount that was actually in your physical count. And then over here, you're going to enter in what we call the difference. So it's just going to end up being the difference between what you guys have and what you guys counted. Of course, you guys can call them whatever you want. Really, this process is up to you how you want to handle it. This is just how I believe is going to be the simplest way. Alright, so in the quick little break there, I entered in the values from my physical count. Obviously, I've only got 12 bins for 5 or so items, so it's going to take a lot longer than a split second to get this done. But once you have your physical count matched up, right, you want to make sure that you have the value for the bin and the product. So once that's done, you are going to want to find out what the difference is. Just find out what parts might have an incorrect value. So in here, what you're going to do is type in equals, and you're going to select cell D2, and you're going to subtract cell H2 and hit enter. So you'll notice the difference here is 0. That's going to be because the quantity on hand is 0, the physical count was 0, So the difference is 0. Now we're going to use that cool Excel trick to copy this all the way down. It'll be a lot easier than typing in that equation for every single cell. So you're going to double click on this little box here. As soon as the white cross turns to a thin black cross, you'll just double click and it'll autofill down. So you'll notice that there are several more zeros. So those are values where what you have in the system matches exactly what you guys have outside. If the difference is positive, that means that there is 10,000 in the system that you didn't find in your physical count. And if the difference is negative, that means that there are 20 more in your physical count than what you have in the system. So to make the second count a little bit easier, what you're going to want to do is add a filter onto the difference column. So if you select this cell and come up to the top and hit sort and filter, you can hit filter. And since there's already one automatically on the sheet, it'll take it away. But once you hit it again, it'll add it in. So now we're going to hit this little upside down triangle in the gray box. And we are going to scroll down to 0 and deselect that value and hit OK. So now it's only going to show us what our discrepancies are. And then it makes it a lot easier to go and recount when you only have, 5 lines showing out of 13. So now you guys are ready for that second count to check make sure these differences are correct or make sure they're different. So what you'll want to do is set up another couple columns and just say, second count and difference again. Nope, can't spell correctly. Difference with an E. You'll make those a little bit bigger just so you can read them. And once you have these values entered in, we'll do the same equation here on the right. So now that we have the second count and the new difference, we'll see that it turns out one of them was miscounted the first time, and that difference is 0. But we know that Galileo bin primary does have a difference, as well as Gauss, Bray, and both bins for Bray. So now we are ready to actually make these fixes in the system. I would direct you to Steve's last video on inventory adjustments, and I'll show you how it'll look once it's done. Alright, so I have set up the inventory adjustment template. The big things to note here is under the adjustment reason I put in physical inventory, and I just entered in what the physical count was. The big things to note here is that I don't have every part. There's no sense in making an adjustment on parts that don't need to be changed. It's really just these 5 bins that have something different. So this is what we are going to upload. So we are going to head over to the inventory adjustment page. We're just going to go to inventory and import inventory adjustments. We are going to select our vendor, Gravity Industries, warehouse main, and our file. It's going to be on my desktop, and it's called Gravity Physical Inventory. At this point, we can hit submit, and it'll head down to active job, and once it is complete, we'll see it down in recent jobs. So now it's all done. We can just take a look at our results. We'll open these up. You'll see that it says finished with errors. That'll happen sometimes. Figure it's better to see it on a video than just run into it without any other information. So you'll see the error message here. It just says product bin second is suspended. So that actually isn't that crazy, right? We've got two bins called secondary and one is second. And if you remember from the initial inventory report, the secondary bin said 10,600 and the second bin said 0. So in this situation, you'll want to make an adjustment to get this back to 10,600, or you can unsuspend this bin by watching our video on how to manage bins and adjust just this 600 in. Whichever way you think is easier is going to be the best bet to make sure that this inventory adjustment goes clean. That's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and you get some good use out of it. As always, if you have any questions or anything you'd like to see on a video, please reach out to us at askttstoday@tradetechsolutions.com. And otherwise, good luck on your adjustment and have a great day.